Hey there, everyone. What is up? Happy Saturday. It is March 16th, and I am here to chat AEW Collision. And let me tell you, it has been a hot minute since I've been here on a Saturday to talk about Collision. So, welcome back to the Collision post show. So, I was trying to think back to when's the last time that I actually got to cover Collision. And the last show that I covered was on January 20th. So I missed about a month of Collision, everybody. I'm so sorry, but it's Saturdays, things happen, and there was pay-per-views, there was parties. I mean, there was a lot happening. And this Saturday I had nothing, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna return and do this Collision post show. And it's funny because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get my Collision post shows back. I'm gonna get them back in the nice little groove. And then I found out that next week there is no Collision on Saturday. So it's just Saturdays is a lot more complicated. But either way, I'm here and at least I'll be able to talk about it here today. But it's been a fun week of streams. A lot of you have seen a whole lot of me this whole week because I was here on Monday. I did an entire Raw watch along for 3 hours. I was here on Tuesday for NXT. Wednesdays for Dynamite, and then I was here last night for Smackdown, and now I'm back again. Now I'm back again for Collision. So it's been a long week. Next week, I'll have a pretty lengthy schedule as well. It'll be a fun week, but we got some wrestling to get into. So the way that I'm going to kind of shape today's post show, guys, is really just picking up where I left off. I missed a month of Collision. So to kind of bounce back and see, has the show changed? Has the show gotten better? Is the show the same in certain aspects? So I'll go ahead and break that down just based off of like what I last saw on Collision and what we saw here tonight. So we'll go ahead and get right into all of that. We got a couple of things to get to first. First and foremost, shout out to Sheldon Jackson for sending 5 DWO memberships, as always having my back here and the back of the DWO members. So thank you so much to Sheldon as always. He also sends in a super chat saying, please AEW officially add Shibata or Kyle O'Reilly to the Blackpool Combat Club and add Thunder Rosa to La Facción Ingobernable. I would not hate either of those two suggestions. You're on to something, Sheldon. Good little pointers there. I like that. We got 554K in the house who says, hey, Denise, welcome back to Saturday nights. I know I'm back, guys. And look, I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this, but how do I say this in like the nicest way possible? There are a lot of things that I'm trying to find the right wording, guys. I'm trying to find the right wording. Look. There was a match that I really enjoyed on today's Collision episode, all right? There was a match that I really enjoyed on today's Collision episode. However, I don't feel bad that I missed an entire month because there is still a lot on the show that hasn't changed from the last time that I was watching Collision. And the same things that bugged me last time or that didn't really capture my attention last time are still happening on the show. With that being said, I did think, though, that even though there's still some, like this still doesn't feel like a must-watch TV show to me right now. With that being said, though, I still thought that this episode of Collision was stronger than at least the last 3 episodes of Collision that I've talked about in the past here on the channel. My issue, and I was thinking about it today, I was like, why can I not get into Collision? Like, I get into the matches when they're good, and you guys know which match was good if you watched it today. It was Bryan Danielson versus Shibata. We'll talk about that in a minute, but the reason why I cannot get into Collision as much as I want to get into Collision, there's a couple of things. The main one, which is what I've talked about a bunch of times here on the show, is that I feel half invested into every match. I still feel like they put up certain people that I'm like, all right, cool. I'm really excited to watch this person wrestle. But then they're up against somebody that that I don't really care to watch them wrestle. And I think that is kind of my issue right now with Collision. It's been my issue with Collision. And for that reason, it makes it a little bit harder for me to get into. The other thing that I was thinking about today is that I feel like Collision feels like an AEW house show. And house shows can be fun, don't get me wrong, but it almost doesn't feel like it's in the same universe as what we see on Dynamite. And I thoroughly enjoy Dynamite. So I have a little bit of a harder time getting into Collision. And that's the other thing that I was thinking about. The other thing, and I think part of it also has to do is like the atmosphere. The crowds aren't as hot as the Dynamite crowds, and that does impact the show because obviously, it's like a rock concert. You want a lively crowd. You want people to feel like, like it's a big deal to be here at the show. That impacts like the feel of the show. It impacts the atmosphere of the show, and it just adds to the entire thing. And so that was like another thing that I noticed that kind of wasn't working for me on Collision. So those are pretty much the same. They almost feel like there's the same concerns that I had previously. And again, I was gone for a month and nothing has really changed on that regard. So I kind of feel bad, but again, it doesn't feel like I have to absolutely be here every Saturday to talk or watch Collision, which sucks because there are gems like the one we saw with today with Bryan Danielson and Shibata. Like that to me, I was very happy that I tuned in for that. But anyways, that's some of the things that I do think that Collision still needs to fix. And I'm curious to see for some of you guys here, do you watch Collision on a weekly basis? Do you watch based on the card? What's your viewing pattern of Collision? Because me, it's basically if I have nothing else going on in my life, I will watch Collision. And then on top of that, hey, what does this card look like? And depending on that, we continue on with the day, right? But it's totally different from Dynamite, where it's like Dynamite, obviously I'm seated each and every single Wednesday, no matter what. So that's honestly how I feel about the last couple of shows. Primarily this show got me thinking. We got Fair and Wolf Esquisse who sends in a super chat saying, support Collision, Crazy's debut of Spike Dudley. Hilarious. There's going to be people here that didn't watch Collision and are like, what? Spike Dudley? What's happening here? We got 554K says, also, I posted a video on TikTok promoting this channel. You are a beautiful person inside and out, and I will do my best to always drop and promote the channel. Thank you so much for doing that, guys. I always say this, like, you can promote and you can promote something, but word of mouth definitely goes a long way, especially when it comes to podcasts and whatnot, because people want to hear what other people have to say about a podcast before they decide to take the time to listen. Fair and Wolf also says, past 3 Collisions was fire. This one was kind of meh. This always happens. Guys, this always happens. I'm starting to not believe people because every time I watch Collision, I'm like, this show was okay. And then the days that I don't tune in, people are like, oh, Collision was so good today. Ooh, this always happens. Always. Literally. I'm sorry, but like until I see it, I gotta see it to believe it. But we got a couple of we got a couple of mixed reactions, but we got a lot of people that enjoy Collision though. Let's see what people are saying. We got MCAS Pito who watches every single week. Amir says, I normally enjoy Collision. Ryan Vasquez says it's okay. It needs a bit more of star power and better storylines. Yeah, I agree on that. Matt Kensley says, I tend to forget the show exists 8 out of 10 times. I tune in late and put it on the background. Let's see what else we got here. This is from Arnold Nicholson, who says Copeland should start the show and Danielson should end the show. Well, they kind of had it a little bit of, they had it opposite today. Danielson started the show and Adam Copeland ended the show. So I think as long as they have them on, both Danielson and Adam Copeland, it does add to the show. But then it's like everything in the middle needs to be just a little bit more, you know? All right, we got a couple of other things to get to. This one is from Joe Bab64, who says, this was my first live Collision in a while too. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Thank you so much for sharing that. Also, DWO member here. Delayed Grat sends in a generous super chat saying, Collision's presentation is more about matches. There are some storylines, but you'd have to watch it week after week. The Briscoe House of Black feud, Ruby versus Soraya, the TBS title lives here. Yeah, and I'm fully aware of that. You know, there's certain people that I know to expect on the show. But here's the thing, though. Like, if the show is all about the wrestling, I need more matches on the card, like a Bryan Danielson, Shibata type situation, where I can know, okay, this is a show where I'm going to get, like, you know, a lot of really good wrestling. But I don't feel that way when I'm not invested in pretty much a lot of the people. So not a lot of people, but like half the talent. So that's my struggle. Like, they do need more stars and stars having matches with stars on the card. Delayed Grads, thank you so much for the super chat here. All right, so let's go ahead and get to it because I'm going to break everything down in terms of how I felt about all of it as we get to it. But here we go. I'm going to kick things off with the best thing on the show. I'm going to go in chronological format just to make it fair. But with that being said, the first thing we're talking about was the best thing on this show. And it was Bryan Danielson versus Katsuyori Shibata. And the thing about this match, guys, is obviously you have two very dynamic wrestlers here. Two wrestlers that have something in common, totally different situations, but did have something in common where pro wrestling was almost taken away from them. And Shibata, in his case, his life was almost taken away from him. So a little bit more extreme on Shibata's case, but still, regardless, two guys that have, almost pretty much lost the thing that they were passionate about at some point in their career. So this match here, I thought that, first of all, overall, entertaining as all hell, best match. But it didn't start for me to pick up. It was until the moment that we started seeing Katsuyori Shibata and Bryan really emphasize a lot more on the striking versus the grappling that they were doing earlier on in the match. I thought once they went more into like the strikes and stuff, that's when it really, really picked up. It might have been after the commercial break, but after the commercial break was when I thought things really kicked into like high gear. So obviously it had a little bit of a build till you got to that moment where the match actually got to peak and move forward. And like this was fun. This was a fun match. And at one point, like you see people chanting, this was awesome. Like people really got invested into it. And I love the finish because I mentioned that at the top of this match, they were focusing a little bit more on the grappling. And then the most exciting part was when they were doing more of the striking. But at the end, it was like Bryan Danielson won, but he won by sort of out grappling him and not out grappling him for like a good period of time. No, out grappling him just enough to get the 3 count. So 3 seconds, 3 count, bam, wins this match. To me, it was like just for a split second, he was able to out grapple him and bam, he is able to win this match. So for me, like getting to see that finish was very, very good. I loved all of that, like fun stuff. But the promo that we got from Bryan Danielson following this match, and this was later on in the show, but I'm going to talk about it now. I am so, and you guys know this already, especially if you tune into the Dynamite post shows, I am so freaking excited about Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay. Like, this is the match, guys, that is giving me life right now. When I'm down and feeling blue and feeling like nothing's happening and I'm bored and all of that stuff, when I think, you know what? Freaking Dynasty, what is it, April 21st, I'm going to be seeing Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay. That is giving me the pep in my step that I need to get by for the day because I'm really looking forward to that match. On Wednesday, Reg and I were here talking about how Will Ospreay's promo was so freaking good. We talked about him saying that he is not going to die in that ring. He is going to go out there and he's going to fight because it is life or death in the ring against Bryan Danielson, right? And Bryan Danielson addressed that promo here tonight. And this was totally opposite, right? This was very, very Bryan Danielson. Because, Bryan's an earthy fella. Yeah, he's an earthy fella. Likes to read. He likes to care about the earth. He likes to read, care about the earth. He likes to meditate. Like I said, he's an earthy fella. Anyways, so he's backstage and he's like in the Zen position where he's got his legs crossed and his arms out and he's like meditating and shit. Bryan is in that position backstage and he cuts this really great promo and he addresses the specific portion about Will Ospreay saying that he emulated Bryan Danielson and the whole live and die thing. Okay. So Bryan says, like, yeah, I can tell that he's followed my career, but he can't walk in my shoes. And I thought, where's Bryan going with this, right? Like, what does he mean he can't walk in his shoes? Where is he going with this? And he says, because you, unlike me And guys like Shibata, unlike me and Shibata, we have knocked death has knocked on our door. We almost lost this. We almost lost pro wrestling. We were told we would never wrestle again. And when he said that, I thought, oh, damn, that's really freaking good. Like, that's a really good way to sort of, just morph this into something that it's like, yeah, Will Ospreay, he is one of the greatest pro wrestlers out there. Okay. But has he had to go through something like Bryan Danielson went through? And when he spoke about that, I thought that's a really good little thing to bring up for his promo. So I was really, really sold on that. And then he basically closes it off by saying, say what you want, because I know what I'm willing to do. And I don't think you're ready for that. And let me tell you, man, I bought that. I bought that hook, line, and sinker. On Wednesday, when freaking Will Ospreay went out there and said the things he said, I'm like, oh man, Will Ospreay, he's definitely beating Bryan Danielson. There's no way he's losing. After that promo, he's no way he's losing, right? And then Bryan goes out there and he cuts this promo, and it's just a backstage promo, so it hits a little bit different than in-ring promos. In-ring promos tend to hit a little bit more, right? But even this backstage promo, it was so simple and so effective. And it made me go, damn, I don't know if Will Ospreay can beat Bryan Danielson. So they both did their job in making me think that the other guy can't defeat him, because they both sold me on, I'm the one who's willing to go the extra mile. I'm the one who's willing to do whatever it takes to win this match. So I just got to say, man, what they're doing right now with Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson has me very, very excited. And I tweeted this out. I said this on Wednesday too. But please, I cannot wait until we get this like verbal confrontation between the both of them. I want them. I want this. I need this. I'm very excited about it. But anyways, that was my favorite part of Collision. That Bryan Danielson promo was my favorite part of Collision, as well as his match with Shibata. That to me was chef's kiss. I definitely enjoyed what they did there. Very, very much enjoyed that. As you can tell, because I was very excited to talk about it. We got Tracy WV88 in the house who says, fifth show with you this week. It's your profession, I guess. My obsession. Love both AEW and WWE. I thank you for all the content. It's been a crazy ride. Well, first of all, Tracy, God bless you for being able to stand me for 5 days. Honestly, I don't even know if I'd be able to do that. I have to live with myself. So, Tracy, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'm so happy that you enjoy, both AEW and WWE. It definitely makes it easier because I cover both. So thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate that. Stephen Marchulli says, does AEW suffer from wrestling burnout, or does the show need a split roster? Watch based on card or time? To me, no. Like, it really just needs like more matches like Bryan and Shibata. Like, it needs more matches that you're going to care about. It needs more of more stars on the show, needs better storylines, stronger storylines, like a give me a reason to tune in type of storyline. And then on top of that, I think it just needs more energy. You know what I mean? Like, just more energy. Because when I watch Dynamite, and I was thinking about this. So when I watch Dynamite, I, obviously watch all the shows live, but basically, I have my Twitter app open, I have my notes app open, I have the screen open, and I'm like working, guys. Like those 2 hours of Dynamite for me feel like 20 minutes, man. But it's just like, I don't even get up to go do anything because I'm busy during the commercial breaks. Like, the show keeps you on its toes because there's so much happening, right? And they move so fast. It's like match, promo, backstage promo, here's an announcement. Oh, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of moving parts on the show. And I like that. I like the show to feel that way. And I don't feel that way when I watch Collision. For example, I watched Collision in my living room today. Literally just turned it on TV. I don't watch wrestling on my TV, guys. I never do because I'm working. So I watch on my computer. I watched Collision on my TV, chilling on my couch, eating my freaking gluten-free, non-dairy cheese pizza that sucked ass. It was not good, guys, but I ordered it and I was so pissed because I got the individual 11-inch. I usually eat the entire thing. This time I only ate half of that pizza because it was not good. I was very depressed while eating it. I was just like sitting there biting each slice and I was like, boring, boring. And I'm not talking about the show. I'm talking about my pizza. My pizza was very boring. Anyways, but but you see what I'm saying? It's just a different energy. It's a different energy when I'm watching Dynamite and a different energy when I'm watching Collision. And that's a little bit of my struggle. To put it in perspective, it's like you're watching Raw, you're watching SmackDown, right? There's this energy. And then do you remember like just tuning into like Velocity or Sunday Night Heat? Like it's just doesn't hit the same as Raw and SmackDown. Like that's honestly the best comparison that I can think of right now. Thank you so much to Steven. We got Tony Campbell here who says, the infantry going over House of Black, bad move. Julia Hart is great, and Sky Blue, looking forward to the women's tag team match on Wednesday. AEW, WWE boring. Tony, oh man, we're gonna start the tribalism war, guys. I cover both sides, and I thoroughly enjoy both sides from different for different reasons. So to each their own, guys. To each their own. But anyways, I do agree, by the way, and we'll talk about that in a second, but I do agree with, I didn't think the infantry should have defeated House of Black. And you know what? I might as well talk about that now. That was the last match on the show. And basically, this was part of the tag team tournament, which we'll pull up the bracket in just a second. But House of Black lost to the infantry, and this was due to Mark Briscoe coming out and hitting I think it was Buddy that he hit with a chair and then got chased off by Brody King. Oh, God. Like, I know why they probably did. Like, I know why they did it, right? They have Eddie Kingston feuding with the House of Black. I get it. But, man, I didn't think it was a good call there because, for example, like, I know when I tune into Collision, I'm going to get something with the House of Black. I know that House of Black is actually one of the featured acts on the show. And they're a good tag team, guys. And I just didn't feel the same way about the infantry. Maybe it's because I haven't gotten to see much of them, but just based off of this one match, I didn't really feel like I was interested in seeing them continue on in the tournament over House of Black. But I don't know. I think I get it from the AEW side because they'll probably have different plans in store and it gives the infantry an opportunity to be in this tournament and maybe makes them an easy elimination. But man, I just can't justify the House of Black being out so fast in this wild card match. And so, yeah, I didn't think it was the best move either. We got Daniel Robledo here who says, love the show. How do you feel about AEW doing a red, white, and blue rope pay-per-view at Yankee Stadium? Be cool. I'm into like colors and like make it brighter, try new things. I'm 100% down with that. I think that'd be kind of fun. We got Farron Wolf saying, no Kingston, Elite, Storm, FTR, etc. Any Collision star was in the hands of Keith, Infantry, Trish. Big opportunities for this people, and this is the result. Yeah, pretty much, man. Pretty much. Thank you so much, Farron Wolf, for breaking that down. We got 554K who says, your content is always awesome. You're the best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. That's not an opinion. It's a fact for life. Well, why do you think I got Bret Hart back here? I tried to bring him here this is for good luck, guys. Like every single time I'm like, I need Bret back here for like good luck. This is like a blessing. Thank you so much for the generous super chat, by the way. I appreciate that a whole lot. All right, so there was something I was going to get to. Yes, the tag team bracket. I might as well bring that up now, and let's break this down here. So this is what we have here. This is the AEW World Tag Team Championship Tournament, and this is to crown the new tag team champions because, as you know, Sting and Darby were the champions, and Sting retired as champion, and that left Darby without a partner, so he basically just left the belt, and Tony Khan announced the championship tournament. So that's where we're at right now. Over on the left side of the bracket, we got the Young Bucks, Private Party, Undisputed Kingdom, the wild card match, which is going to be either Best Friends or Don Callis family. And then over on the right side, it's Ricky Starks and Big Bill, Top Flight, FTR, and the Infantry, who just defeated House of Black in this wild card match. So FTR is gonna defeat the Infantry, and it's gonna be easy, guys. Like, there ain't no way FTR is losing to the Infantry, guys. Ain't no way. So, like I said, the pro to this is that Infantry is kind of an easy elimination moving forward. So there's that. That's probably why they did that. Who knows? And then over on the top with Top Flight and Ricky Starks and Big Bill, I was thinking that Big Bill and Ricky Starks were over already. I wasn't expecting them to be in this tournament. I want Ricky Starks and Big Bill to go off and do their own thing. So when I saw that they were part of this tournament, I was kind of taken aback by that. But hey, there they are, Ricky Starks and Big Bill. And Top Flight is such a fun tag team. I think they should go with Top Flight to win this, and I think it should be Top Flight and FTR on the finals of the right side, with FTR winning. And then over on the left side, I'm expecting it to be the let me see. I'm expecting it to be the Don Callis family versus Undisputed Kingdom. Nope. You know what? I'm changing that to Best Friends. I'm thinking it's going to be Best Friends versus Undisputed Kingdom. You know what? That one can go any direction. Either way, I'm expecting Undisputed Kingdom to win, move forward, and face the Young Bucks. And then I'm expecting Young Bucks, FTR to be the finals, because that's honestly the most interesting outcome. I'm trying to think if there's another really interesting outcome. Undisputed Kingdom maybe versus FTR. But no, I don't think it's on the same level as interesting as Young Bucks versus FTR. So that's the prediction here for this AEW World Tag Team Championship tournament. All right, let's keep it going here and let's see what you guys are saying. If you have any different predictions on this, please let me know. We got Tim Weininger Jr. is in the house. He says, starting late, I like Collision more than SmackDown. What? What? Tim, what? You always throw me off, man. You know what? I give this to you, Tim. You always come in with some hot takes. I cannot say that I enjoy Collision more than SmackDown. I definitely enjoy SmackDown a little bit more for sure. But I guess it depends, because you know what? That's unfair. You know what? I'm being unfair, Tim. You know what? I'm being unfair. I'm being unfair because I watch SmackDown religiously. I have not skipped an episode. And I have skipped Collision episodes. So you know what? How about this? Give me a month. Give me a month to religiously watch Collision again, and then I'll give you a fair answer. Because you know what? That wasn't fair. But as of right now, my answer is SmackDown. Although I recognize it's a little bit of an unfair answer, given that I haven't been given the same attention, the same love and attention to Collision. All right, man. Let's keep it going here. And let's see. We got more people sending in their predictions. We got more people predicting the Young Bucks to win over on their side of it. Delayed Gratz is expecting FTR versus the Young Bucks. We got Shelton Mysterio who says the Young Bucks on Top Flight. Cool. Honestly. All right. So it seems like everybody at least has the Young Bucks on one side of it. So there you go. All right. Awesome. Scoucher Boy says, Denise, rank the shows in order. Dude, you read my mind. I swear to God, you read my mind. Because when Tim mentioned that he enjoyed Collision over SmackDown, I started thinking of the shows that I enjoy the most in order. Obviously this changes, right? Because every week is so different. But I would say on an average, which shows I tend to enjoy the most, usually it's Dynamite. After Dynamite, it's SmackDown, then Raw, then NXT. Sometimes NXT be climbing up there. I really enjoy NXT. Then Collision because I watch it the least, and then Rampage because I watch it even lesser than Collision. So, yeah, that's probably where I'm at in terms of my rankings, at least on an average week. But sometimes it changes, obviously. There was a period, like at least a month, where I felt that SmackDown had the strongest shows. Then there was another period where I was just really enjoying NXT. So go figure, guys. It changes all the time. Joe Bab 64 sends in a super chat saying, when Adam Copeland referenced Mick Foley and said the words "I quit" very loudly, I immediately thought of Foley's "I Quit" match with The Rock. Iconic shit, man. Iconic shit. And you even think of the match with Edge and Mick Foley too. Like, that's another match to think of too. That was so much freaking fun. Obviously, everybody remembers the table spot. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff to remember. Earlier today on Busted Open, we went down memory lane because it's Austin 316 day. And dude, I just went down memory lane this morning and just thinking of all my favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin moments. Anyways, Joe Bab, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. We got 5280 Malehi here who says, What about Top Flight or Private Party? That would be fun, but I just don't think that would be the pay-per-view match. Like, obviously, the pay-per-view match is going to be the biggest possibility, and I think the biggest possibility is FTR and the Bucks. Thank you so much for sending in your thoughts as well. All right, let's see. We got Tony here who says he's expecting Don Callis family or the United Kingdom, FTR, and the Young Bucks. All right, cool. Don Callis family. I'm a big fan of the Don Callis family, but just based off of like what I guess AEW would do, I don't know if I see them making it all the way down to the end of the tournament. Although I would really enjoy it because I really do like the Don Callis family. Well, I like the people involved in the Don Callis family. So that's the reason why. All right, let me keep this going, guys. And let's move on to some of these other topics and things that happened on the show. So I'm going in order. So next up, Julia Hart versus Trish Adora. So this was for the TBS Championship match. The pros and cons. All right, I will start with the cons first. The cons were really just the fact that the crowd was not interested in this match. They were kind of dead during this match, so that's definitely a con. That's literally when I wrote down on my notes, this crowd needs more energy for the show. That's the con. The pro, though, is that they gave them quite a bit of time. Honestly, they got good time here for this match. Julia, I feel every time I see her, she just gets like levels better every time I see her. So there's clearly improvement, and having these types of long matches, that's obviously going to make people get better. So that's definitely the pro there. And my favorite spot of this match was actually when Trish Adora, I don't even know what she calls it. I don't know if she has a name for this, but when she did the splits on top of Julia Hart, I thought that was so freaking cool and unique. So I was a fan of that. But Julia Hart, she retains her TBS championship. She's pretty popular with the crowd. So there's really not much else to say about there. She's definitely improving, though. That's for sure. Tony Campbell sends in a super chat saying, do you think MJF comes back at the next AEW pay-per-view and Julia Hart dropping to Mercedes Moné? Let me think about this. He's been gone since World's End. I don't know if he's going to come back at the pay-per-view. He might. Or he can come back afterwards. I don't know when he's going to come back. I feel like he would have to come back soon, though. I'm not expecting him to be on the Dynasty card. He can make an appearance, of course, maybe return on the Dynasty card. But I am expecting to see him back. I don't know, Double or Nothing maybe. That's when I probably feel like he's definitely going to be back. But I don't know when he's making his official return, though. So we'll see what happens there. I'm not entirely too sure. And Julia Hart dropping the title to Mercedes Moné could feel like a possibility. Feels like a possibility. We got Rafael Garcia here who says, didn't think that Spike was a gender-neutral name, but it was way cool to see a spiked 2x4. Although Abyss probably should have built it, needs more nails. You know what's funny? Actually, this is really stupid, but for some reason, when Adam brought out the Spike and the 2x4 with the nails, because he wrote Spike in red writing, it reminded me of, you'll never guess, it reminded me of Wilson. Now, some of you guys are going, Wilson? Who the hell was that in pro wrestling? Wilson! Who here knows what I'm talking about? If you know what I'm talking about, hit me up right now in those comments. And it was really just the red writing. It was the red writing and giving it a name. The red writing and giving it a name reminded me of Wilson. All right. I'm waiting for the chat. Chat's gonna have my back on this one, guys. Thank you, Greg Carter II. Please welcome to the show. You're my brand new co-host. Castaway, the movie, yes, with Tom Hanks when he gets stranded on the island and goes cuckoo crazy, and he has the freaking ball, and he gives it a face with the red writing, and his name is Wilson because it's the Wilson ball. Don't ask me why my head went there, but my head went there when he brought out Spike. Anyways, good movie. If you haven't seen Castaway, it's a classic. At least I consider it a classic. Check it out. Anyways, let's keep it moving here. Let's get into Daniel Garcia versus Lee Moriarty. So, this was not a bad match, not a bad match at all. Two young guys going out there and doing their thing. Daniel won with via submission. Not a bad match. Not super like wasn't Bryan Danielson Shibata good, but it was still a fine match here. I think there's one thing that I want to see from Lee Moriarty that I think can help him level up his game a little bit. It's just something like so. It's just like a visual thing. But I didn't realize that for some reason I kept thinking Lee Moriarty was like in his mid 20s. For some reason I thought he was in his mid 20s. No, he's actually 30. And I'm like, why does he look so young? Like he looks so much young, like so much younger to me. And then I started thinking like, I feel like the one thing that I would suggest, or at least I would want to see, or at least I think would be cool, just my personal opinion. I think he needs to add more color to his gear. I think he needs something to like really pop and stand out from his gear, just to kind of make him look a little bit extra cooler. I don't know why, but I was thinking about that while I was watching this match. And I was also thinking that he should ditch the singlet and just do trunks because he has the straps down anyways. He might as well just do the trunks and go with like a bright color or something, just so it won't look a little like too generic. And it would probably help him stand out a lot because he's already pretty damn good. I'm a fan of Lee Moriarty. He's had some big matches, but he hasn't had that star making moment. And obviously your look and how you present yourself is part of that. So I don't know. That's just something that I was thinking about while I was watching this matchup here. But anyways, that was really it. That was really it there. Let's see. We also got Pac versus Aaron Solo. And this was my example, guys. Earlier I was saying there's matches that I'm interested in, but I'm only half interested in. I couldn't get it. It was just like, Pac's Collision debut. He's back. I'm excited to see Pac. I'm excited about the debut, but it's like you just need a hotter opponent, a match that feels like a bigger deal. And that's like matches like this is a little bit of an example as to why I can't get into Collision as much, is because I want to see Pac versus names that are a little bit bigger stars, because I want to be more interested in the matchup. So for that reason, like, this was just a match. Like, it was just a match. The only thing that really had me reacting was obviously getting to see him hit his Black Arrow again, because it'd been forever because he's been gone. So I hadn't seen him hit his Black Arrow in the longest. So getting to see that was fun. But that was kind of it. And I did like his promo that he cut afterwards. So I guess in a way, like, I like his promo because he called out, whatever. He addressed Tony Khan in this. And he basically said, the bastard is back and I'm looking for trouble. And he tells Tony, like, I'm going to need you to find me. He basically said, I need you to find me better opponents. He didn't say it like that with that wording, but he said, I'm looking for trouble. Find me someone or I'll find them myself. Not this. Like, this is not what I came for. So like even Pac here is trying to find some like stronger opponents. So I guess it fed into his promo, but I did like the promo because, God, I feel like it's been centuries since I've heard him talk. Like, I forgot what he sounded like. Even though we've seen so many of his like little promos, I still forgot what he sounded like. It's weird, because obviously in ring, it just hits different again than like vignettes or things like that. So anyways, happy to see Pac back. And there's still a lot of people I want to see him wrestle. So hope to get to see all of that. All right, we got Claudio versus Lance Archer. This was another fine match, had some good moments. Claudio and Lance had a bit where they were like trying to clothesline each other, but none of them could take them down because they're both really tall dudes. And finally, Claudio is the one who takes out Lance Archer. This ends up, we end up seeing the Righteous come out. They attack Claudio. Bryan comes out to help out his buddy Claudio. And the Righteous is still basically having the advantage in this attack. So Shibata comes out, he runs out there and he helps out Bryan and Claudio. So it's looking like they're probably going to do like a 6-man or something like that, possibly next week. I don't know. I don't think they announced anything, or I might have missed it, but I'm assuming that's what they're going to probably be doing the next week after that. But nothing much else to add there. Brian Keith versus Kyle O'Reilly. I do want to spend some time on this because Kyle O'Reilly hadn't been, he'd been out of action. Like, he didn't know if he was going to come back and return. He did an interview with Renee Paquette on Dynamite, and he spoke about how, like, he couldn't even pick up his daughter from his injuries and everything that he was going through. Like, he really went through serious stuff. And so he's coming back. He said he didn't know, like, this is obviously a really stacked roster. He didn't know if he can keep up, if he can hang with all of these guys. And he went out there, man. And I really enjoyed this match. I actually forgot to mention it at the top because, again, I mentioned that I really liked Bryan and Shibata, but I should have mentioned that I did like Brian Keith and Kyle O'Reilly a whole lot too, because, and it crept up on me too. Like, at first I thought it was just a fine match, but then there was this moment where they really started going at each other with these strikes. Like, both guys, like, you just see their legs, like, just hitting each other. And next thing you know, I'm like really invested in that match. And I don't know. I really like the strikes between them. Kyle O'Reilly wins via submission. This match definitely picked up. So, you know what? I'm really sorry that I forgot to mention this match at the top of this show, but this was definitely another match that I found pretty entertaining to watch here. So this was good. And it was weird too, because I was watching this match and I'm like, obviously it's been a while since we've seen Kyle O'Reilly wrestle. And I was sitting there going and I was like, damn, I forgot what to expect from Kyle O'Reilly. Like, I forgot who Kyle O'Reilly is in the ring. Like, I truly forgot what he brought to the ring. And so I felt like this match was really just a reminder because, again, I was sitting there and I was going, I didn't remember what to expect from him. So nice reminder. Happy to see him back because, again, you just never know if people are going to come back when they get injured and things like that. So Kyle O'Reilly, happy to see him back. We got Yes Boy here who says, notice that Brian Keith came out of the heel tunnel. I should pay more attention to that, honestly. Brian Keith has been doing good. He did good. He did good in this match, for sure. Alrighty. And the last thing we need to get into, we already spoke about House of Black and the Infantry, so I'm going to get right into Adam Copeland. And this was really simple, guys. He went out there. He cut a promo. He's going to be having that I Quit match against Christian Cage at Dynamite in Canada. And this was good. There was a lot that I liked from this promo from Adam. And one of the things that I really enjoyed was that he didn't refer to Christian Cage as Jay anymore, which Jay is his shoot name. He didn't refer to him as Jay anymore. And that's something that Adam had been doing a lot when he came into AEW. He kept referring to him as Jay. He didn't refer to him as Christian Cage. And so the reason he doesn't refer to him as Jay anymore is because he said that Jay is basically dead and gone, that he's no longer Jay. Like, he's no longer Jay, that they had fond memories with each other. None of that. He's Christian Cage. He bought into Christian Cage. So Adam is basically saying he bought into this character without actually using the words character, but that's kind of like what he alluded to in the sense that he bought into being this act. He bought into being Christian Cage. So I actually did really like that portion of it. He went on to explain that he didn't come to AEW to steal his spotlight. He came to AEW to close out his career with Christian instead of stealing his spotlight. And then he introduces Spike. And Spike is this 2x4 with a bunch of nails, and that's what we were talking about earlier. And he's very excited to use Spike. Honestly, you can tell Adam was very excited to use Spike. And he just basically said, I'm going to take away his ego. I'm going to take away his manhood. And I'm going to make him say, I quit. And his daughters are never going to be able to look him in the eye ever again. I thought that Adam did a really good job at getting fired up and also basically explaining what he's going to do. So I think he added some good stuff. heading into this match in Dynamite, because honestly, like I had mentioned this on the Dynamite post show, but I was like, Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage. Cena had been there, done that a couple of times now, so I really wasn't like, jumping over the moon for it. But this promo definitely got me a lot more interested than I was before, and I knew I was going to get interested once the match actually started and if it was good. But again, just heading into it when you've seen something a couple of times, it it doesn't hit the same. So anyways, after this promo, I went from like being excited. I think, what was it? Reg had asked me on Dynamite, the post show, he had asked me where my ranking was in terms of excitement. And I think I said like a 2. I moved up. I'm like at a 4. I'm at a 4 now. That's good. Moved up in interest. But anyways, that was Adam Copeland's promo on Collision. And we got people saying here that Spike was awesome. Hey man, Spike got over, man. Spike is definitely over. A lot of people are bringing him up here in the chat. So there you go. We got Tim Leonard Jr. who sends in a super chat saying, I do not like the Rock stuff and it keeps cutting other matches. This is why I prefer Collisions on over SmackDown. I've been enjoying what The Rock has to bring to the table so far, especially last night. I really enjoyed his sing-along, his concert, bearing people. I had a good time with that. I know that it does take time away from some other things, but I don't know, when it's good, as long as it's good, like I can't ever say that I'm mad because, we got like a 20-minute Rock segment, because again, we went so long without getting to see The Rock that it's like really cool to have him here on a weekly basis on SmackDown. So I know there's people that have mixed feelings about that, but I do enjoy seeing The Rock come out, do his sing-alongs and things like that. Like I like that. Like I like him mocking people. I like him talking shit. Like I'm interested in all of that, I like that stuff. So that's how I feel about all of that. All right, I think I covered everything here for Collision, but before I go, I just want to thank everybody again for hopping on. I know it's a Saturday, so truthfully, I didn't know who was going to hop on, but seriously, you guys freaking came through. Next week, I will be back again for a full slate of shows. Monday, I'll be here to do another watch along. As you guys know, I'm doing these watch alongs heading into WrestleMania. Tuesday, I'll be here for the NXT post show. Wednesday is going to be a 3-hour AEW block because they're doing 2 hours of Dynamite and then 1 hour of Rampage. So I'm probably going to be doing a later post show and watching all of that and then doing the post show really late at night. So it might be an extra late night on Wednesday. And then I'll be back, of course, on Friday for SmackDown. There's no Collision next week, guys. So it's not my fault. That's all AEW. There's no Collision next week. But that is it, everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you guys so much, as always. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Lots of wonderful content up here. You guys can check it out. Go through the archived library and all of that. Thank you, everybody, and have an awesome weekend.